And I'm just obsessively like at work, I'm like, oh my God, I wonder if I've gained or lost weight. I wonder, like, you know, have I lost a couple pounds? Have I, like, it is, and I'm not trying to romanticize it. I'm saying, like, I have never thought that having a scale in your house was a big deal. And for some reason right now, I must be going through something between the sleep eating and this. But
yeah, I think this is connected.
Yeah, definitely. But and I think also I'm spiraling about how much I'm sleep eating and wondering when it's going to like affect my weight.
We go back, like way back, 21 years back. I'm Chloe.
And I'm Kelly, and we have been friends long enough to know that that kind of connection is rare.
We've recognized a pattern that we can come together feeling overwhelmed and jaded by life, but can walk away from our conversations feeling elevated and fulfilled. Our goal is to have our listeners share in that experience with each episode.
This podcast is our love letter to each other. It has been years in the making, and finally the stars have aligned, and we like to open up our conversations to you. We intend to build a community where no topic is off the table.
In a world where discomfort is actively avoided, therapy is not accessible to many, yet you should talk to a therapist, is a reflex response that denies connection. We have found that talking it out has been a form of free therapy in itself.
We dive into topics like death, divorce, disordered eating, debt, and every taboo topic in between, all while balancing the scales with our tongue-in-cheek humor.
With that, who's ready to get taboo? Okay, so part 2.
Yeah, welcome to part 2 of Body Image.
Part 2.
We knew it would be short and sweet.
Yeah,
it never is.
No, not with us, and not with Body Image.
Literally
so let's
never.
get one thing
I'm going
straight.
to open this. It might be
that's fine.
Alarming.
Open your Fresca. Ooh, oh,
that was crispy.
You should have done it in the mic.
Oh my God, ASMR moment. Oh wait, what if I just?
Oh yeah, now sip it.
Ew, I'm not doing that.
Do it.
I literally refuse. You could pay me, but you could not pay me. Now I want. Stop watching me. I can't do it. Oh my God, let's just get this fucking episode started. Jesus Christ.
Anyways, we left off with your sleep eating.
Yo, I am sure.
Oh, also, if you haven't listened to part 1, go listen to part 1.
Oh, awkward,
this is a part 2 of like a whole body image.
People are if they listen to this first and they hear what I'm about to talk about, they're going to be like, get that feral raccoon out of the podcast. Jesus Christ.
Let her night eating be a teaser. Go listen to part 1 and then you have this waiting for you.
Then you can listen about my raccoon habits. Okay, so if anyone is a Taylor
Swift. Wait, but actually I really want a raccoon.
Oh, I really like their hands.
They're so cute.
I just
watched a video today of someone like took in this like stray little baby and then raised him up, and it was just so cute eating at the table with everyone.
That's absurd.
No, it's not.
They're far too dirty.
Nope.
I really enjoy their hands, and I really enjoy when they have anxious hands and they hold their own hands and then they go like this. Yeah. That is incredibly relatable. Cute. No, they're so cute.
If anyone knows the best way and like the most
come on, get there.
The word that's like...
You got it. I don't even have a guess for what you're trying to say.
Humane way, maybe to adopt a raccoon.
Is it inhumane to take it in? I feel like that's better than living in a trash can.
I don't know. But some people, I don't know. PETA will have something to say, I feel like.
Yeah, they'll win the battle no matter what. They got money that I don't. So
anyways, I want a raccoon. Tell me how to get one. I'm crowdsourcing here. I just think they're so cute.
Relax. There's so many small
little trash pandas.
That's a cute way to put it. I like their hands.
So you're night eating.
Yeah. Anyway, me being a raccoon. Yeah.
I'm going to put the raccoon emoji next to your name in my phone now.
Oh, fantastic. It could be worse. I'm not going to lie.
Do I have an emoji next to my name in your phone?
I'm not an emoji girl.
Oh yeah, we went over this.
They're
my name's just Chloe Anna McKell Lisa Check.
No, it's just Chloe Anna McKell, one word.
Yeah.
It's super dramatic. I love it. And every time you call me, your full name never pops up on my phone, which is
that would drive me nuts.
I love the chaos. Okay. Anyway, so my raccoon eating, I feel like it started when I was in my mid-20s. I go through phases. I am starting to piece together that it has everything to do with my mental health and my cycle. I will hit the hay, head on the pillow, fast asleep. It's typically for about 2 hours. And then I am no longer Kelly. She is still asleep on the pillow, but her physical body rises out of bed, rummages through the cabinets, finding whatever she can fucking eat first, walks it to bed, and then consuming while asleep. I wake up with berry stains all over my face, food in my fucking bed, wrappers. Like, there might be some drama there. I'm trying to make it a little more dramatic than it is, but I do wake up with little surprises in my bed that is evidence that I have been eating. And it is the most infuriating thing in the world. Like I said in the last episode that, like, I don't know. I'll eat and I'll feel too full, but I feel like I'm not aware enough of my body to know when it feels like shit because of what I've eaten, except when I do this. I wake up in the morning and I feel like garbage. I feel so nauseous. I don't have an appetite the whole morning, which I already struggle with eating breakfast, which I know isn't great for you. Depending on who you ask, actually, I really have no idea. But I feel nauseous up until about like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and then am ravenous again, and I'll eat, and then I'll eat until I'm satiated. And then no matter what, even if I have a good dinner with lots of protein, it doesn't matter. I am waking up. There is no self-control. There is no conscious, like, I will have memories of like kind of being half asleep and being like, don't go eat. Do not get out of bed. Just stay in bed. But it feels like a dream. And so then I don't have memories of going to the kitchen, and I wake up in the morning and I see the wrappers, and it just triggers like shame and anger. And then I feel like shit. And it is so awful. And it's been going on for years. And like I said earlier, I think it has everything to do with my mental health, and it affects my mental health. I am more bitey and angry because I'm so angry that I'm doing it. And like, especially when I'm in a phase of wanting to eat healthy and I put in all this effort during the day to not eat like shit. And it's like, it feels like it's kind of for nothing, because then Night Kelly appears and she just does whatever the fuck she wants. It's feral. It's feral.
I mean, yeah, like the way you're describing it, it's like you're painting a picture of a feral raccoon.
I'm sure that maybe you'll remember this, but probably not. I don't know. I feel like you don't have shitty boy humor, but like, okay, Step Brothers. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No, I know you've seen it. I'm not placating you in that way. I'm just saying, I don't know if you've watched it recently.
No, I've been meaning to. I've been thinking about that movie a lot. I'm like, I used to, like, there was a period of like several years where I watched that movie all the time.
Okay, good.
And I haven't watched it in a long time, and I've been craving watching it.
It's iconic. That era of comedy is just unmatched, and I stand by that forever.
Will Ferrell is just unmatched.
God, I love his favorite place. If Will Ferrell ever listens to this, meet me at our favorite dessert shop, Loretta Jean's. It is a pie shop on Division, and it is he goes there every time he visits Portland.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know he visited Portland.
Who knows why, but he does. And he talked about how he's like, no, I always have to go to Loretta Jean's. And like, truly, they're the best in town. But I just love him so much.
Yeah.
I think he's so funny. Anyway, my nighttime eating is the exact same. And I hope we can like somehow like clip the scene of the movie I'm talking about over this, or like in between us now.
I know exactly which scene you're talking about.
When they get up and they put the pillows in the oven and they like go through the kitchen and they are moving like these like chaotic zombies.
I like to think there's not one person in our audience who doesn't know exactly what scene you're talking about.
No, they definitely do. It's not like a niche scene at all. But it is truly to a T what I'm experiencing.
Our people, you know what I mean?
Oh, everyone knows. And it's just the worst. I don't think it's contributing anything to me that's beneficial.
Well, I feel like this is my philosophy with anything. So I feel like this is your body communicating with you something that it needs.
Attention?
I think,
just kidding.
No, I think it's looking to nourish itself. And I could be totally wrong. There is probably a lot of science.
Not.
No, but there's probably a lot of science that backs or like can help explain what's going on here. But like when you first told me about this and like hearing this now, my thoughts are like, your body's not feeling nourished enough, you know, and who knows what like your body needs. Yeah. Like that's going to be something that you have to figure out with your body. But, it seems like I mean, I know you like have mentioned that it's like hard for you to like feel hungry in the morning, or you struggle to eat breakfast and you don't like to eat until like way late in the day. Part of like because I was doing intermittent fasting for a couple of years, and like I know like what that feels like in my body.
Yeah.
And it was really hard on me. And so I would be like ravenous and I would like totally like binge eat. So I wonder if this is like almost like a subconscious binging. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. And if
Because
you feel,
of the restriction.
yeah. And I don't want you to feel, I'm not saying that you feel this way, but I'm like very much think it's important to talk about, and not, there's no, like, I want to get to the bottom of it. So that, not that you are tiptoeing, but it's not a sensitive topic. I like really am so frustrated that it has been happening for so many years. And I completely agree with you, because I do have like glimpses and memories of, thinking like, no, Kelly, you don't want to do this. You don't want to go to that kitchen right now. And then being like, fuck it. What's one more night? It's so problematic. And again, it comes back down to, my frustration comes from having those conversations in my head, but not having the control to just, when it comes to food, I have no control, no control. And I know that eventually it's going to show in my health. And I think that's why I'm starting to get like really scared. And I just want to know why.
Yeah.
I want to do like a sleep study and just like, what is making me do this? Because it doesn't matter. I've also been like, well, maybe it's my dinners. Like I have changed what I've ate. I'll eat really healthy dinners. I'll eat earlier. I'll eat later. Like I tend to be someone that I'm 100 years old. I like to eat at 5 o'clock, like 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I love an early dinner. And then if I need a little snack, that's totally cute. I'll do that too. But no matter what I try, and I guess right now it's really depressing because I feel like I'm in a really good, respectively speaking, like a pretty good state with my mental health. But I am binge eating at night, or like night sleep eating more than ever.
Yeah.
I can't.
I've
keep
struggled
things
with
in
that
my
too.
house.
Yeah,
Really.
I know it. Yeah, I know the feeling.
I don't like feeling out of control. If people haven't picked up on that by this episode, then I have not been very honest about it. I struggle with control. I need control to feel safe. And so it feels really unsafe that when I go to sleep and I finally it feels like my body betraying me. I finally get peace in my mind, and it's my mind's opportunity to rest. And then my physical body, well, I mean, it still is my brain too, is like, nope, time to snack. Like, why?
Yeah,
You know?
I think like, so I don't know, would it be helpful if I like shared like things that did help me with it?
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
want to come off in like here's what I did, so you should try it too. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, it's not that it wouldn't be helpful. I didn't know that you struggled with it, to be honest.
Yeah, for a lot of years, because you do know that I struggled with like restricting and binging. Right. So that's like not a surprise or a secret.
Yeah. The sleep part of it, I meant.
Yeah. And like, I'm not saying I like ate in my sleep, but I struggled with like the binge eating, and especially like the after dinner. It's like, well, I already ate dinner, and then I'm like going to the kitchen, and like it's 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like still like searching the cupboards and like binging. Yeah. You know? But like part of it was like the mindset around food, like viewing food as like, I don't know, like a problem. You know what I mean? Like food was like almost like a weapon, or it's the enemy. Cause it's like no matter what, I'm eating something bad, or it's like, you know, it's this like view of it, or being like, it's almost like being afraid of it. Yeah. And then at that point, then it's like you feel so out of control because you feel like you're afraid of anything that you eat being a problem. Right. And then that like making you feel out of control. So then you kind of just like completely like submit or like give into it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. I think I am intimidated by food. Yeah, I'm intimidated by food. I think it's become such a habit of how I comfort myself. And I think So
it's just interesting. I think for me, what I'm most interested in is the sleep aspect. Binging while I'm awake, that makes sense to me. It doesn't make it okay, but I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking eating because I'm stressed or I'm sad or I'm bored. Like, honestly, sometimes it's not that deep with me. Sometimes I'm just fucking bored and I want something in my mouth, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's like an oral fixation.
I have an oral fixation. I was a nail biter my entire life until this year. And sometimes I'm just bored. So like that part of it, I know I just don't have the willpower to stop right now. I can, and I hopefully will. But it's the sleeping part of it. I think that's what makes it so scary. Because I'm not awake. I'm not conscious. I am not in a place where I am making these decisions point blank. My mind is waking me up and saying, go the fuck to the kitchen or you can't go back to sleep. It's like you need to eat to fall back asleep.
Yeah, see,
which
that's
is
like
weird.
I think physically, I feel like your blood sugar is not regulated. Like I feel like you're having a low blood sugar at that time, because a lot of times, like when you're kind of on like a blood sugar roller coaster around like, I don't know, 2 whatever a.m. or so is when you have that dive where it drops off, and that's a lot of times when people are waking up and having racing thoughts. Yeah. And it's because like your blood sugar is low and you kind of go into this like panic state, and not everybody feels hungry or recognizes like, oh, I need to, like my body's like looking for food. Right. You have these other like anxiety type of symptoms. But I'm wondering if like your body's like, no, we need something now. We feel like we're going to die if we don't eat something right now because our blood sugar is so low.
I wish I could remember if I feel hungry when I do it. It doesn't feel like it. Yeah. It almost feels like it's me self-soothing. And what makes me feel tired
is being able to go back or have a full belly.
It's full belly and heat. Heating pad lives on me, is sewn to my skin practically.
So I wonder if when you're sleeping, your subconscious is like trying to process difficult emotions and you're looking to food to soothe it.
That's what I'm getting at. I don't think it's like a body, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. My blood sugar is fucking all over the place, I'm sure. Based on how sporadically and I eat and how out of control it can be. But I think that there is an emotional side to it. I think there is a lot going on in my brain all the time. I think there's a lot of, things that are just unhealed, or that like I just feel things in such an extreme way that it takes a lot to work through it. And I always do, but I just wonder if sometimes when it gets to be so overwhelming, and then if I'm whatever time in my cycle, I think I've narrowed it down to it's when I'm ovulating. And that's when like the PMDD that I struggle with, which is like a period. It's basically just like extreme periods for the emotional and mental health side of things. When that PMDD kicks in, that's when I'm wanting to eat.
Well, so when you're ovulating,
when I'm going through this,
is when you need a lot more calories and you need a lot more like carbs. So I'm wondering if you're not getting enough, like, in that time when you are ovulating.
I mean, probably. I'm not really good about hitting my marks with like any of my food in general.
And not that you have to like hit marks, but it's like a time like when you are ovulating, it's like a time to think of like, okay, like I can have like more fruit now. And like like my body is like has more energy naturally. So I'm like burning through it more. Yeah. It's a good time to be like upping things a bit just because you have that. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely feel like I'm trying to follow my cycle more and like change my habits and like eat like,
like the fact that you're able to like narrow it down to a certain window
really nice.
Is like huge.
But I will say it's been really weird this last month because it wasn't like I'm ovulating right now. Right now is the time. I have been sleep eating. It's usually a multiple month cycle. I'm telling you, like I will do it for months at a time. And then it'll stop for like a few months and I kind of forget about it. And then I'm like waking up with like grapes smashed in my bed again. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
So yeah, that makes me think it's like
I think it's emotional.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it's like physiological at all.
Because I'm confused because you said it was like during ovulation, but it will go on for months.
Right. So like that. Yeah. Like it depends. Like if it's only going to be like I'll say it's most intense during ovulation.
Okay.
But it'll be like to where like when I'm not ovulating, it'll happen 2-3 nights of the week. When I'm ovulating, it's every night of the week, guaranteed. Guaranteed. I woke up this morning and there were like those Trader Joe sesame sticks that I love and adore.
Yeah.
There was a literal trail because I at least put the bag away this morning. I'm at least starting to clean up after myself in my sleep when I'm eating like a freak. But there was like a trail all the way to my fucking kitchen. And I was like, what the hell is this? Bully didn't eat them either. My dog. I was like, all right, well, I gave you a free snack.
Yeah.
Well, I snacked. I don't even know how long I'm eating.
That's wild.
I know. Anyway, those are my eating habits. They're fucking terrible. I don't know what to do about it anymore. See a specialist, probably.
I mean,
Heal my brain.
I think you start with the emotional.
Yeah, I don't know how to. Yeah, that's a whole other episode. We don't even have to. I'm working on, but it's scary because it's really out of control. There's just nothing I can really do about it because again, I don't think it has anything to do. Like I pay myself as like, I feel like I pay myself as like I eat candy every night and I don't eat nutritious food. I don't eat that terribly.
No, you don't.
I don't eat. I don't diet. I don't do any of that shit. But like or like, you know, like there's always things that you can do better, but I don't eat terribly enough for me to like, I don't think it's like my body being like, you're not getting enough of this, or you're eating too much of this, or you're not filling yourself up. Like what the fuck ever. I think I'm sad for no reason.
Well,
sometimes I
don't
know,
think it's for no reason.
But I'm saying
I don't
that
think
like
you should be dismissive.
it's not being I don't see it as being dismissive. I see it as like I am really, really comfortable with my life and where my life is going. And I think that the last 4 years, there's been a lot of trauma and turmoil and a lot of that has subsided and quieted down. And like, I'm really in this like living simply like peaceful era of my life. And I really, really like it. So it's hard for me because I feel like there needs to be a more like straightforward reason to struggling this much with my emotions that I'm eating without consent.
Well, I think there's something to be said for your life being peaceful right now and like there being a lot more peace. Cause I think that's when like the deep shit that we haven't dealt with starts to rear its head. It's like,
yeah, that's so stupid.
It is.
No, like, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I've done all this work. Like, can the deep, like, if people work hard enough, can the, like, deep rooted, like, life shit that you've carried from child, like, can it retire? I don't know.
That would be too convenient.
It would be too convenient, but it's like, yo, it's affecting my sleep. Like, this is fucking bullshit. I'm really tired of eating in my sleep, dude. You have no idea. When I wake up with stains on my face, like, it's just a level of, like, it humbles me. Like,
look at it in the mirror.
The one time, blueberry stuck to my head.
I mean, at least it's fruit.
I'm gonna start filming myself. Like, I picture it like me just like scooping it into my mouth, like shovel it. Anyway, we don't need to go down that path. It's disgusting, but
no, I would love to have a sleep cam in your room.
I'm going to get one. And then I'll share it on the podcast of what I do. Oh, that means I have to sleep with pants on, with clothes on. Anyway.
No, we can blur it out.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my God, that'd be so funny if it was like a black censor bar. Oh God.
I would love that.
We're talking about that on the body image issue as if I would get naked for the internet. Absolutely not.
Answer is she absolutely would.
Absolutely not. Okay. Let's talk. I want to know how you feel about scales in your house. Having a scale. It's a very, like, I've seen TikToks. We've had like debates about this in my family before. I want to know your take on having a scale in your house.
I think I was just having this conversation with my aunt recently. I feel like they can be very triggering. They can also be a tool. It kind of depends on your mindset.
Yeah.
So I'll say when I am feeling like shit about myself and I'm not happy in my body and I am not doing anything about it, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And then I get on the scale. It doesn't matter what that number says. It reinforces whatever shitty belief I have. about myself.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it.
And
I do. I agree completely.
Yeah. And in other times, like when I am like right now, like I'm in a pretty consistent place with my life. I feel like I've got a lot more like routine, and I do really well with routine, and I feel really good. And I feel like I'm respecting myself. So if I get on the scale right now, like in this season, it doesn't matter what that number is. It also reinforces like how I feel, but it's like, I am not feeling like, if I'm being consistent and I'm doing like all the things like that I know make me feel good, and like my clothes fit and whatever, if I get on the scale and that number is still like high, quote unquote, I'm like, oh, well, I must be building muscle. That's really cool.
Right.
I feel good. If I can recognize like, oh, my period's starting in like 4 days or whatever, and like I'm feeling heavy and like heaviness, like I'm not like feeling like
that weight. It's real. It's real.
It is.
No,
it's just
like the
uterine.
a literal little baby weight is living in us. It's called the uterus.
Yeah. And
that's
it's
what
like
I meant.
that's what I mean by the heaviness. I feel the heaviness in my womb.
Yeah.
And I am like, I am retaining water, and I can tell that because my face looks fuller, and I get on the scale and I'm like, okay, like it's higher than what I was last week. And that validates that like, I don't feel like myself right now, but I'm totally okay with it. Cause I'm like, I'm recognizing the season this week that I'm in.
Yeah.
So it's like validating.
Totally.
Almost. It like validates that I'm like, oh, okay. Like it's okay that I don't feel good. And it like, I can see like, oh, I'm like holding extra fluid and I'm about to start my period and all this stuff. So like, it almost is reassuring.
Yeah.
In a way of like,
No, I completely understand. It's again, it comes back to that hyper awareness of our bodies where it's like, oh, I feel bloated. My pants are fitting slightly different. And no matter who you are, there's a thinking loop that you can get in around body image. And so sometimes getting on the scale is kind of like, I was right. There it is. There's a reason for it. I knew
it's
it.
like it validates my experience.
100%.
Which sometimes I like that.
No, I do too. 100. Yeah,
but
like
I also,
completely.
I think if you're getting on the scale every single day and you're like, oh, I gained 2 pounds. Oh, I'm down only 2 pounds, whatever it is. And it's like you're using it in that way. I don't think that's healthy. And I've been there. And then I've also like heard people.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Say that. Okay.
We never had a scale in my house growing up.
Okay.
That I was aware of. I also just grew up with a mom who had a really good metabolism and just I'm sure she worried about body image. Of course she did, but I was never aware of how much like if she even thought about those things, you know, growing up. And I'm thankful for that. That is a blessing. So I never really thought about it. But then when as I've gotten older, like we've had a lot of conversations and, you know, I'm torn about it because I do think it's a tool, and I do think that there are times where it's okay to like use it in that way.
Yeah.
For me, to be real honest with you, I'm in a pretty dark place with scales right now.
Yeah.
I think that's why I wanted to ask you because of what you just brought up. The family I nanny for, in their house, they have a scale in their bathroom, and I get on it multiple times a day.
Oh, wow.
I get on it when I get there. I get on it. Well, actually, the battery's dead on it right now, so I'm all fucked up. I have no idea what's going on with my weight. Do you hear how toxic this is? But I get on it when I get there. I get on it after I drink coffee and I've peed a lot. I get on it after I've eaten. And it's so toxic that if I feel like I'm like 2 pounds, whatever amount more that I think I should or shouldn't be, I take off my shoes and I make sure to put my phone down to get rid of the extra weight. And I check I recognize that I'm doing it multiple times, Chloe, like at least 3 times a day. And like, honestly, this week, because the battery's dead on it, I'm spiraling about it. Wow. And I'm just obsessively like at work. I'm like, oh my God, I wonder if I've gained or lost weight. I wonder, like, you know, have I lost a couple pounds? Have I like it is, and I'm not trying to romanticize it. I'm saying like, I have never thought that having a scale in your house was a big deal. And for some reason right now, I must be going through something between the sleep eating and this, but
yeah, I think this is connected.
Yeah, definitely. But and I think also I'm spiraling about how much I'm sleep eating and wondering when it's going to like affect my weight, which makes me frustrated because I'm like, shouldn't I be more concerned about like the fact that I'm this obsessive about my weight or eating while I'm sleeping? Like, I feel like I should be more worried about the emotional side of that or the mental side of that, but it's easier to worry about the physical stuff. It's easier to address that. So I never had like a strong opinion about scales until this. I am in a loop right now. I'm almost in like a toxic relationship with the scale.
Yeah.
You know,
100%. Do you feel like having this scale at work, do you ever feel like you choose not to eat a meal because
yes.
Yeah.
You don't even have to finish that sentence. Yes. Oh my God, I just really hope that someone listens to this and like, if they ever feel crazy or like so lost in their like cycle or struggles with disordered eating, like I think that people need to, let's get taboo, right? What I do is in the morning, especially after I've had, like, I'm always going to have coffee. I'm never going to give that up. And I don't really drink coffee that's like terrible for me. You know, I'm fine with my coffee. But I weigh myself and I kind of choose a number and I'm like, okay, if I'm that number or lower, then I get to eat or maybe even have a little snack.
Okay.
Disordered eating. But if I'm more than I expected, it is the determining factor of my mental health for the rest of the day. To be honest, I can move past it like enough to like, I'm a nanny. Like I don't really get to be depressed. I've got kids to take care of. So, but I feel it. I feel it sitting like right here or like here. And the stress, the anger,
in your chest and in your throat.
Oh my God. Yeah. And and then I go home and I am just like, fuck, I'm so mad.
Okay.
And it's so crazy how it just has such a chokehold on me.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of people in my life that really actually struggle with like diagnosed or not legitimate eating disorders. And it's just like trauma and anything else. You shouldn't compare one eating disorder to another, but it's hard for me to speak on it because at the end of the day, know that like that what I have isn't that serious. It's just I'm really terrified of it getting away from me.
I think
it's a slippery slope. It is
though.
serious. Yeah.
I don't think it's like, I think it's like it's easy when you're in it to be like, oh, well, I'm not that bad because I don't do XYZ.
Totally
or I'm not
what
as
I'm
bad
doing.
as this person
Toxic.
because when it completely keeps you from like seeing what's actually going on.
Yeah.
And I am going to like, this probably isn't going to feel good on the receiving end. And I might get like some backlash from maybe
Not
other
from me.
people from this.
I was like, what?
But
No.
I 100% like think that you're eating in your sleep because you're not eating enough during the day. Mm-hmm. And I think your body is like needing more.
Why would you get backlash for that? No, that's not controversial.
I mean,
or maybe it is, and I don't even know that.
Ooh. I don't know because I'm kind of like making a statement of what.
Oh, I see. Like
I'm telling you what's wrong. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but we're past that, honey. You can. No.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I do know what you mean, but like
as if I have it all figured out, which I don't.
Right.
And I've talked about this a lot in therapy. It's really hard sometimes, because I want to fix everything, right? Mm-hmm. So it's hard to like, people say that like, oh, when they tell their boyfriend or their husband or whatever, like, I just want him to like listen and not be there like with a solution ready to fix it. And I'm like, oh, I'm that husband. Yeah. Like I'm the one that's like, oh, well, have you tried this? Have you done this? What about this? And like, that's so fucking annoying. It
is. I love you. You don't do, I do. I think, I do that. But I think that you are really, really careful with your words and it never feels that way. But like, you've heard me go on tangents about unsolicited advice. I think you hit the nail on the head that sometimes it feels like someone is giving advice is just, it's tough for me because I think unless someone explicitly asks for it and is like, yo, I'm lost. I got no ideas. What would you do in this situation? Unless that happens, I think that it just can come across as someone being like, well, I have all the answers and let me tell you.
Yeah. As if I haven't figured out, I don't.
But, to be fair, like, you've heard me rant before about how much I struggle with that, about receiving unsolicited advice. But in the last few years, I've also really, really learned that it typically, like if it's someone I'm really close with, it's coming from a place of love and them wanting to help me. And I have never been able to appreciate that until I had that realization. Yeah. So I think that, like, to say it's like fucking annoying. No, it's not annoying. I think it's like knowing your audience. And even you saying like, you're not eating enough during the day. That was not unsolicited advice. That's just a fact. I literally just told you I starved myself if I'm 1 pound more than I expected on the scale. Not starving myself. I'm like binging and restricting and doing all that dumb shit. I
think when you're asleep, like your inhibitions are down, like you are not able to be as controlled as you can. Like you have awful. All this control and willpower during the day. Yeah, when you're sleeping, that goes out the window.
Right. So then my body's like, all right, sucker. Yeah. Now we're going to make you eat.
Exactly. And so I think it's literally, I mean, it really is just your body trying to keep you alive. And the hard part is it's like, I mean, when you want to talk about like the hormone piece of it, like it's really hard on, and I'm hesitant to say this because I don't want this to like fuck with your head. Right. But it's hard on your body to eat when it's not light outside. Right. Like our hormones are not adapted in that way. So on the other hand, like to try to fast and try to force yourself to not eat during the day is also really hard on your body because it's ready to eat. Yeah. And I think too, when those like hormones start to get like, I don't know, kind of like just out of whack, that's when you start to get like nausea in the mornings. And it's almost like you have to start like by having like a gentle breakfast, like maybe like having like 2 eggs or something, like something like just really, and like a piece of toast or just something like small to like prime your system, or like just have like some broth or tea or like coffee, I would say like have with food. Because like the caffeine on an empty stomach is going to fuck with your cortisol and that's going to make you nauseous. So that you can have like a big lunch and then kind of like feel satiated throughout the day. Cause like when you can get ahead of the hunger and the cravings, you don't deal with like the binging and the out of control part on the backside.
Yeah. Cause I don't want it to sound like I'm just like absolutely starving myself. I am eating. Right. It's just in a really disordered way. Yeah. Yeah. And it's, and like, even in the mornings, like coffee for me, I think I use coffee as a security blanket. I think if I wasn't able to drink coffee in the morning, I would be emotionally distraught.
Well, coffee is also an appetite suppressant. Like I used to use it as a tool for that all the time. Like I'd have coffee first thing in the morning on an empty stomach because it kept me full. And so that I could intermittent fast longer. Oh, interesting. Right. Yeah. So then I could like push it until like 2, 3, 4 PM, 5 PM and like, or only just eat like one, like the OMAD diet, which like is a fancy way to say I'm only eating one meal, like 1 meal a day, OMAD. Right. And that is, it did not work for my system. Yeah. Like I will say like I lost weight. Sure. But I was irritable. I was bitchy. I was like, my hormones were dysregulated. I started like growing chin hair and started getting acne, so it's like, really cute things. Yeah. That they don't really tell you when you're like fasting against your cycle. Like there's a lot of things that are coming out now about like how women like are, like how fasting affects women differently than men. Men can fast every day and it's not going to affect them in the same way that it affects women. Women can still fast, but only at certain times of our cycle. So if you're trying to fast while you're ovulating or while you're in that like last part of your luteal phase going into your period, like that makes a ton of sense why you'd be also binging in the middle of the night, because that's when your hormones need to be feasting. Like you need to be like truly feasting. So your body's like, well, whether you're going to let me do it or not, I'm doing it.
Yeah. No, I think you're onto something. And if it's like presenting in a way of like me being like, oh my God, help me. It's not that at all. I just think that they're like disordered eating is so connected to body image. I mean, they go hand in hand, and I think it's just crazy how, for me, in my experience, it just gets away from you so fast. Yeah. I'm surrounded by people that really have like struggled with eating disorders, and it was never a judgmental thing. It was just very much like me being like, well, I just like, go to Taco Bell whenever the fuck I want. And I love junk food and like, who cares? And now I'm in this phase of my life where I'm like, dude, I'm fucking eating when I don't consent. I'm not, I non-consensually am stuffing my face. And then I am taking up so much of my day
hating myself
and like standing on a fucking scale.
Yeah.
Standing on a scale, dude. Like I am nannying a little girl I love so much who is so tiny and is 2 years old. And not that like, I don't want to get corny, but I don't want to set that standard for her or her brother. Like why am I like, and I'm not kidding. When I walk into the house, as soon as I've said my hellos and we do our like, warming up to each other, that like usually takes a half hour. My first bathroom of the day at work, I am not even, I even will go to the bathroom first to get all of that. I don't even know if having pee in your body affects your weight. I have no idea. But I'm like, well, maybe if I get all my pee out, then I'll be a half a pound lighter.
Yeah.
And more often than not, I'm disappointed. And what's crazy is the flip side of that is that when I am like a pound or two lighter, which could just be water weight, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know. The dopamine hit. That I'm in a great mood. I come skipping down the stairs. I feel like a different person.
Yeah.
It is so polarizing. And like, it wasn't until like the last few months that I was like, oh, this is getting out of hand. Like that I'm starting to really lose myself in this. But because it's crazy how, you never want to, everyone's journey is so different with eating and diet and body image and disordered eating for that or with that. I don't really know how to talk about it. And I feel like it's weird. I feel like oftentimes when I talk about my disordered eating, I will watch the person I'm talking to kind of check out and then like apply it to themselves. Because I think so many people are dealing with disordered eating, but they don't want to talk about it or they carry so much shame around it. And I get it. And I don't have any advice for how to get over it. I don't think that there's a solution yet. I don't think that there is a way to just like, let it go. When someone meets me, when I'm talking about eating disordered with like, you need to show yourself more love. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You think that it's like that? It's a deep rooted thing. Like it's like a self-respect thing. It's a trauma thing. It's so much more complicated than just being like, you need to have more love for yourself. I don't think that's what disordered eating is about, maybe a little bit, but
yeah. I don't think it can be that simple, I guess.
Yeah.
Not that like self-love isn't a massive part of it. It's just not that it's not the only thing, or it's not the solution. It's not the one thing that's going to get you in a healthier, with it having a healthier relationship with food.
And I think self-love is a slippery slope, right? I think self-love is a lifelong journey. Yeah. I don't think anyone achieves self-love. And I feel I think it's like an actionable thing. It is like, it's something that to give yourself love or to show yourself love. That's like an action. That's a step you have to take. It's not something to be like achieved. Yeah. I think and you're always learning new tools and new ways to do it. And I think, at least with body image, so much of it is like it's so unfair because I think we do it to ourselves. And then so many of our insecurities are reinforced by, unfortunately, like how much access we have to the rest of the world and like social media and all of that and diet culture and fitness culture and
and how we grew up and what the conversations were at home. Cause I mean, I know you said that you felt like your mom had like a fast metabolism, but it's like, I think it's bigger than just like how she appeared. I think, like for me, it's like my mom was always on a diet. Like
I remember that. Yeah.
And I remember too, like in middle school and high school, like your mom was doing paleo and CrossFit and stuff. Like your mom was always on, like not always, but like your mom was also on a diet.
Yeah.
But that was very normal. Like, my mom did Jenny Craig. That's
what it was.
Like all these different like things. Nutrisystem.
Did your dad diet?
I
feel like he just worked out.
He was like a gym guy, but it was like, I mean, it was like a lot of like the 80s and 90s, like gym rat type of like diet where it's like, you know, protein shakes and, but also like at my dad's house, like it was a lot of like, I mean, he grilled every night for dinner. Like we always had like a dinner that was like
amazing.
Yeah, like centered around like a meat and like it was a very like whole food household, I think. I think it had, there was like very different, like food things happening between both the houses. But like at the end of the day, I think most of my family is incredibly fat phobic. So there was like so much conversation around like,
I think it's good to call that out.
Like
it's important,
you know, and like, so my mom always on a diet, never happy with like her body, the way she looked, always referred to herself as like having a big can or, you know,
same Allison,
you know,
it's so
like,
toxic.
All this stuff where it's like, so she always had that demon that she was battling. And then like by proxy of being around that, once I started to like gain weight inevitably because of my environment, then I'm like, oh, well now I just go on a diet.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even really a conscious thought. I don't think it was it was
natural.
I don't like how I look. I'm gaining weight now. Time for my diet to start. Basically.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like a very natural thing to want to do.
Well, yeah. Cause it's like you
it's
just
cause and effect.
Yeah, exactly. You just do what your parents do.
Exactly.
And then, you know, like on the other side, like my dad's mom, like she's incredibly fat phobic. Like, you know, very old school Eastern European and loves like beauty pageants and like women when they're all like dressed up and all this stuff. And like wouldn't hug one of her friends a couple years ago that came to visit her. And later after she left, it was like, no, she's like, basically she said that she's overweight and she doesn't want to touch her.
Damn it, Baca.
I know. So anyway, that to say it's like, that's what my dad grew up with.
Right.
So it's like, I think it doesn't matter like whether or not it's conscious, like there is like a subconscious thing that you pick up from your parents.
Your parent, anyone around, you know, I think even being in school.
Yeah. So like when I was in 8th grade, I tore my ACL playing basketball.
Terrible.
And I was a kid who played like every sport, multiple sports at the same time. And I ate like it. I was, you know, so hype, like so active. And, when I tore my knee, I was out for like a certain amount of time, but I still had the appetite of an athlete. Fuck yeah, but I wasn't moving like an athlete. And then it was also at the same time, like I'd, you know, been going through puberty, all this stuff. And I filled out, I put on a lot of weight in a very short amount of time. And it was like, I all of a sudden was in like a woman's body and then like in such a different body than like any of my friends. Yeah. And it's probably not really much different than like the body I'm in now. But at the time it was so different than everybody else. Cause we were in 8th grade.
I was just going to say really fast. Isn't it interesting how we were just like that callback to our teen years that we're going through right now. We've talked so endlessly about like being so jarred by like looking in the mirror and being like, whose body is that? That's not the body I'm used to seeing. Yeah. And I remember feeling that way in 8th grade too. It's just interesting how cyclical it can be. Yeah. Anyway, continue.
Oh yeah. No, you're fine. But then I just remember like the comments about everybody, like from everybody in my family, like both my parents, my step parent, like, and just people around me, like, well, you know, you'd have a faster swim time or a faster track time if you lost some weight. Or then when I started high school, it's like boys that I knew from when I was in middle school or whatever it was, like them, like calling me out for gaining weight.
Oh my God.
And it was basically in the way of like, I've lost my social currency because now I have gained weight.
That is so important to say. That is so important to say.
And it was like, now that I am in a different body than I was a year or 2 years ago, I don't have the same value that I did at that time.
Heavy.
Yeah. So heavy.
It just makes me so sad. You know, when it's like yourself going through it, it's just like, yeah, this is this really hard thing. But God, you just said that. And I just like my brain went to my sisters, right? Like, it's so devastating. Anyone really to think that like we have been brought up, that's not blaming our parents. That's just blaming, I think, culture, to be honest with you. Our value and worth comes from how our body looks.
Yeah.
It's devastating. It's an epidemic.
Like I wasn't like the hot girl anymore. And then it was like, then it's like an identity crisis, right? Because then it's like, well, how do I then like,
who am I then?
Yeah. Who am I?
If I'm not the hot girl,
yeah.
Then what can I be? And I think we are, again, not to get too existential, but put on this trajectory of like, we're always aiming to be hot and desirable.
Yeah.
And so when you lose that, and you don't know how to grieve when you're that age, but you do grieve, you're devastated. And then you're like, well, what is there left?
Yeah.
If I'm not hot, what am I?
Exactly. And it was people too that it's like, I still remember exactly, like, I mean, I could put their names on blast right here if I wanted.
You deserve it.
Yeah, no,
Just
they
kidding.
don't, because it's
kidding.
like, no. I know where you're coming from, but it's like, I have to recognize like their own things that they've been fed by society.
Right.
And I mean, maybe some of them would still say that shit now. Maybe some of them would like have deep regret and like feel awful for like saying that to someone. And I hope it's maybe the latter. But it's like, I also don't want someone to feel awful. That's the other thing. I just want people to like recognize like that that's not how we behave.
Yeah.
You know, that's not how we treat people.
Right. I think I've gotten to this point in my life where it's like, I don't want the people that have caused those like very traumatic moments in my life. Like I truly believe they weren't aware of what they were doing.
Correct.
Maybe that's naive, but like we were fucking kids. Like when we're talking about like body image and all of that stuff.
I don't think people intentionally seek out to hurt other people.
Yes. At that age specifically. I mean, yeah, I think there are people that do harm other people.
Yeah, but I think they're doing it in a way of like, that's not the intent. The intent is something like entirely like more selfish.
When talking about body image or in general?
In general, hurting people.
Got it. Oh, okay.
Body image, I don't know.
I think
if someone's intentionally calling out like your body, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I just am more cynical. I do think there's people that that saying like hurt people. Like I do think that I know there's people that intentionally hurt people. There are, but I think there are, but I know it's because they also carry shit. I don't think someone is born into the world and they're just like inherently bad. I think that trauma shapes people, but I think that there are people that get like sociopaths and like psychopaths and people like that.
Okay,
but when you're a kid, I think that kids are just pretty fucking unfiltered. Mm-hmm. And I think especially when you're a teenager, you are a reflection of your parents.
Exactly. Like that TikTok that I think I sent you, but it was like this girl, she stitched it, and it was because someone was saying, like, I will never understand like Mean Girls and like something to that effect. And this girl stitched it, and she was like, it's because she has a mean mommy. It's because her mom is mean. I saw this. Yep. Her mom's mean to her. Her mom bullies her, and she doesn't know how to like interact with other people.
Absolutely.
And so she's mean because her mom's mean.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes. And it is such like a powerful thing, because I don't think kids, I was just talking about this with Kevin over the weekend on our drive, that, I don't think when kids are like being mean to other kids on the playground, it's not just the kid that's being bullied that is hurting.
I couldn't agree more.
Because like we sit there and like we expel the bully, or they get suspended, and for good reason. Like,
consequences matter.
Consequences are important,
yeah.
But it's like, I think that is a better time for like school administration to get curious about why that kid is being mean.
I'm seeing so many parallels right now between what we said. I think it was in the last episode, part 1 of this episode, where we were talking about like with wellness, or maybe we were just having a conversation recently about it. We were talking about like with wellness, the key is not treating the symptoms, it's getting to the root.
Yeah.
You can do that with people that are malicious towards other people, bullies, kids that do shit like that. It's like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, send them home. I do believe that kids need boundaries and consequences and like an opportunity to reflect. But I think instead we need to get away from like punishing a kid and instead making it a learning opportunity, and also recognizing there is a reason. There is a reason that this bully is behaving this way. Yeah. And instead of just denying them and shutting them away and getting rid of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude, you just gave me the best metaphor.
Oh, lay it on me. I love a good metaphor. Slut for him.
In in the body image issue.
Oh, yeah.
We're the bully. That our body is the little kid that is getting bullied. We're sitting here punishing our body, being mean to it,
I agree.
bullying it.
Yep.
Because we're hurting emotionally.
Right.
And then
instead of healing this,
we're taking it out on our bodies.
we're just like, fine, then don't eat. You don't look the way that I want after
so you don't get to eat. You
don't
aren't
get to
worthy of eating.
Right. But unfortunately, the brain will always win. And I think that's when the brain, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm just going to say your brain has like amazing survival instincts.
Well, yeah.
It knows there's food in this goddamn house, and it says, I'll be damned if I am starved.
Yeah. Like, I literally am at a point.
Not to mock you.
Please fucking do.
I don't want this.
Okay.
I'm not mocking her eating disorder.
This is absurd that you're like, not to mock me. I need you to fucking mock me. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to be mocked.
I need to be mocked.
I'm humbling you.
It grounds me. I need to be made fun of. It honestly does wonders for me. Yeah, it's crazy to me that I've literally had this thought of like, okay, well, maybe I just can't keep my food in my house instead of just maybe eating throughout the day in a way that's not so disordered. Like, I would rather just not keep food. I literally grocery shop less. Like, it's out of hand. Actually, a lot of the grocery shopping has to do with my lack of money, but also I would be lying if I said there wasn't a part of me that's like, well, if I grocery shop once a month, that's like way less time of me going down the treat aisle of Trader Joe's and getting everything that I love and adore there. But then I get mad because I'm stubborn and I'm like, well, what the fuck though? I'm only alive once. Why am I not indulging? I deserve to indulge. I love to indulge. I want to eat whatever the fuck I want.
Well, no, I think that is like a symptom of the restriction. Like like you're going down the treat aisle and saying, no, I shouldn't, instead of allowing yourself to enjoy.
The problem is that
I think if you enjoyed more, you wouldn't over.
You would think that. No, if I enjoy it, I just double it after I've enjoyed it. There's no in between. And I think that's a part of the disordered eating. Because Kathleen my sister has said the same thing, where she's like, no, like if you completely deny yourself, right, then you're going to go fucking ham and eat a whole box of whatever treat I want. And she was like, allow yourself a little sweet treat. And I have tried, and it's a journey that I'm still working on, but it seems that if one right now, I'll just eat it all in the fucking middle of the night. And then my teeth are going to rot out of my head. That's the other part of it. Like, dude, I'm working so hard to fix these ratchet ass teeth my father gave me. Like cavity, even if I didn't eat sugar, I'd have cavities. Fun fact. No enamel on these chompers. And
well, that's, I think, your acidity thing that we talked about.
No, all the wells don't have it.
Well,
No. Like it is. I mean, like maybe we're all acidic, I guess. But but I don't know. The dentist said it's like a genetic thing where like.
No, I gotta get you into holistic dentistry.
That sounds like a lot of work, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm just saying the philosophy behind it. It's not like yes, there's genetics involved, but it's the epigenetics that like determine the actual.
Don't people put lemon on their teeth though?
No, you should not do that.
I thought people did that. I don't do that. I don't try any.
You're not supposed to put lemon on your teeth because it eats your enamel. But that's what I'm saying. I think you have an acidic, like an acidity imbalance.
Yeah, maybe.
Which we've talked about.
Yeah.
We've talked about. So anyway, that is what's contributing to your lack of enamel.
Yeah.
And your cavities.
I'm working. Yeah. And I'm working so hard to fix my teeth. And like, I have a huge fear of the dentist. So it's god awful. And so I'm like so frustrated that it's like, okay, I'm getting all of these cavities. I get my face drilled into once a month to fix my face bones. And then I am eating all night long in my sleep after I brush my teeth, and all that shit is just sitting on my teeth, perpetuating the cycle of never having normal teeth. It's like affecting so much of my health. We don't even go down this road. Everyone now knows that I am a raccoon and I eat consciously or unconsciously all the time. Yeah, I don't know how to stop it. I'm not really sure what to do. I don't know why we're back here. There's nothing I can do.
Well, no, that I don't agree with that at all. I'm gonna like hard disagree. It's not that there's nothing you can do. We just haven't figured out like where you can heal.
Yeah.
The direction, the path that it will like get you to healing.
Yeah, I think I mean, again, I speak in absolutes.
Yeah, and I hate it.
I love it. I love the dramatic effect. I think it's so fun. But yeah, there's obviously stuff I can do. It's more, I don't know that I have the capacity to go on a whole thing. But again, it's kind of like working out where it's like, all right, well, when am I going to hit that fucking wall though? Of like being so fed up. Because usually I just wait it out. Usually I'm just like, oh, okay, well, like I'll wait out the cycle and then it'll fix itself. But like it keeps happening and it's lasting longer and longer. And I am not, I am fed up. I am. But I don't know. I guess I just keep trying shit and trying to heal whatever's going on internally. But that's overwhelming.
Yeah.
That's like someone saying, yeah, just fix your mental health and you'll be fine. Oh my God.
Well, yeah, when you look at it that way, but when you look at it in the way of like, okay, what, like if you start to pull at the thread, like, find the thread and pull at that one small thing, that's a lot more manageable than being like, thinking of it as like this whole
thing. I think what terrifies me is that I'm an incredibly self-aware person and I know my shit. I know what I carry. I know what fucks me up. I really do. I spend all of my time thinking about it 24/7. It consumes me. And what scares me with the eating or with this whole thing that I've been talking too long about is I have no fucking idea. It's the first time in my life that like with my mental health, emotional state, like when it comes to the disordered eating stuff, I got nothing. I don't know where to start. I don't know what it could be. I don't know what I'm carrying. And like, I guess I could go into like childhood stuff, but like, I don't think it's that deep. I can't imagine that it's that deep. Because it happened at a very specific time in my life, like when it started. Like if it was a childhood thing, why would it manifest?
Well, then maybe go back to that time when you feel like it started.
Yeah, I don't want to bore anyone, but or you, but it started when I was probably at my happiest. Isn't that weird? Riddle me that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to complicate it or layer it. It's just like I'm trying to be as honest as possible about something that is very bizarre and is affecting a huge part of my life though. Yeah. I
have some thoughts about it I'd like to get into in another combo, totally. In another episode.
Okay, yeah. Let's wrap up there because this could be a fucking 6-part episode. And,
and I think it's like the money thing. We're just going to keep having conversations about it.
Well, and like next time, let's not talk about me being a raccoon. I
covered. No,
we got it.
I think it's really important and I'm glad we talked about it and
Ew.
No, but I really think it's going to be interesting, cool, dope to like watch you as this evolves.
Or it will stay. I mean, I hope it does. I'm hopeful that it does get better. Like next time we talk about it, my hope is that I'm like, I haven't eaten overnight in like 3 whole weeks.
Well, that would be cool. But I mean in the way of like you starting to figure out where it's coming from.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's friggin' wild. Disordered eating. Terrible.
It's heavy.
It's heavy. All right. Well, on that happy note. Awesome.
Bully's over it.
Bully's like, stop fucking talking.
To go. Okay. We love you guys. Thanks for listening. And we'll catch you for the next one.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Bye. Dude, I can't with the goodbye.
I can't.
Trash.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry you were here so late. Yeah, totally fine. One last thing before you go. There is no us without you. Go like and subscribe to our show on your favorite streaming service and give us a follow on all socials at Let's Get Taboo. Chat with y'all next time.